Tony Khan is interested in booking a WrestleMania 43 alternative. Plus, another title match could be being added to Wrestlepalooza. And we have a major update on John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. So this weekend, it is all the wrestling, all out from Toronto, from AEW, immediately followed by WWE Wrestlepalooza in Indianapolis. A whole day of live, or whole night, I guess, for us, and through the night of live streaming on Twitch and on YouTube for that one. But the story going into this big old weekend has been the announcement of WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, it's the whole debate about counter-programming, because, of course, Wrestlepalooza came about, you felt, because of All Out being a thing. It just so happened to be taking place at the same time initially. Obviously, AEW then bumped their start time forward, so there wasn't too much, if any, crossover of both shows. So obviously, now that WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia in 2027, questions have been asked of Tony Khan on the AEW All Out media call yesterday. Could you potentially hold a domestic show around about the same time that Saudi Mania is happening in 2027?
And Tony Khan said that he is very much interested in running a big show in the spring of 2027. Somewhere Paul White's ears pricked up. And he talks about plans to host a huge AEW Revolution. Now, he mentioned Revolution a couple of times in this media call, which makes us think that should they do what Tony is very interested in doing, in holding like a big event over WrestleMania weekend that's AEW flavored, maybe they'll title it Revolution.
It's quite a fitting title, really. I mean, that is when Revolution happens in the time of the year. It's normally February, March kind of time. So I guess if it gets pushed back to April, if that's when Saudi Mania is going to happen, the shoe fits there. But also, revolutions and that.
Yes, say you want a revolution, as they sang in the music that time. What's the name? That band from the Liverpool, China Crisis. That's the one.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Did they sing a song about revolution? That's them. Them's the ones. Them's the ones.
But it feels like quite a fitting title, because it feels like a lot of people are just going to bypass Saudi Mania, just based off the comments we've seen on videos and that. There's been a lot of people saying, well, if they're going over there, I won't be watching, kind of thing. So AEW will be there to maybe pick up those eyes who won't be watching wrestling on that particular day.
I feel like WWE might strong arm the US that weekend, though, because since they've now got NXT doing big arena shows once more, you've got AAA that you can utilize, you've got TNA that you've also got there as well. What's to stop them holding like a big stand and deliver weekend that is completely perfectly in line with WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
And I feel like if once AEW have gone, or Tony Khan has gone, we'd like to run a big event in the spring. That's where WWE go, oh, what a coincidence! I stand to deliver every day in March.
It's an interesting...
Every single day.
So obviously, you think, if Tony Khan could pick up the phone book like now and just say, like, oh, GC, Brett Lauderdale, we'll get the collective where we want to go, whichever city we choose, which I assume would be a different city to what maybe NXT and Triple R could run that weekend. It'd be interesting, because obviously the ties are there with Bloodsport, part of the collective, and Doreen, like people like Shayna Baszler and Your Fetish, Natalia Neidhart appearing on the show. So how could that relationship kind of play into where the indies go that weekend?
That's true, actually, because I can't imagine, obviously, because WWE have got a kind of closer relationship with GCW, and you could pick up the phone to Brett Lauderdale, but then at the same time, you've got Josh Barnett, who obviously enjoys working with WWE because, he gets the lovely Natty Neidhart, among others, popping up for Bloodsport et al. So that's going to be a little question mark. It depends how much WWE want to utilize all the weaponry in their armory to make this happen. I think it will take a bunch of wrestling promotions coming together to put on something really special. And the last time that the bunch of wrestling promotions did that, it worked out just fine. I think they called it Super Clash. And that went brilliantly, and nobody fell out, and it was all fine. So AEW, when it comes to their pay-per-views in the future, we saw All Out move to an earlier start time, and Tony Khan was non-committal about whether this would be the case going forward. He puts over the financial success of All In and Forbidden Door running earlier in the afternoon. Fans even prefer it. You know what? I do too, as a fan. Whichever company chose to put on an event in the afternoon, so I can be tucked up in bed by 10 p.m., you are my favourite company, whoever you are. I'm all for it. I mean, I think on this occasion, it's a case of going, we'll do earlier. The fans enjoy the earlier shows in other markets. Let's do it here. And also then we can deal with the issue of another company running at the same time.
Yeah.
A bigger company running at the same time.
Well, I think as things stand, there's not due to be any crossover whatsoever because of the start times. But you would think that maybe WWE could open the kickoff show on their end of the deal with a match or two.
Well, so AEW set to start at like 3 p.m. And they like going along.
It's West Saturday. There's 13 matches.
Yeah. Starting at 3 p.m. So
I think it's 12. There might be one on the tailgate show on the Saturday.
So they've got to get that whole show done by 7.
Yeah.
Because 7 p.m. is when Wrestlepalooza starts. But you got the pre-show before that as well.
Which is normally 2 hours, isn't it? The pre-shows for WWE.
Pre-show's 2 hours.
I've skipped them by for a long time, me. I can't lie.
Pre-show starts at 5. Main show starts at 7. So AEW got to be a little bit tighter and brighter than they have been in the past to make sure there isn't a crossover. But just in case there is somewhat of a crossover, it was also announced during this media call that Cope and Cage versus FDR, the match that we thought would go on last, is going on first.
Yeah. Why? Just because it's obviously Cope and Cage going back to their home land. I don't know where that came from, but there we go.
the sound of my home country. That'll be the match that kicks off. We'll talk a bit more about what's kicking off Wrestlepalooza in just a moment. But for now, speaking of Wrestlepalooza, potentially another title match being added, but a little asterisk. Not star, an asterisk over the top of
an asterisk.
Asterisk.
Asuka.
Little starry thing.
Wrestler called Asuka. Yeah, you might be seeing people on the poster there if Owen's put it on the thing. Is it Owen or Joel or Pierce? Whoever's doing the edit, put your name there. Give you credit. But there's ladies on that poster who aren't mentioned on the card as it stands right now, and that's Jade Cargill, that's Nia Jax, that's Tiffany Stratton. And it looks like a match between those three could be happening according to the likes of WrestleVotes and Fightful Select.
However, it could also not be happening. This is due to the match that we had with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill last Friday, in which Tiffany Stratton did a moonsault to the floor and banged her head. It meant that she was unable to compete at NXT Homecoming, and it's not certain at this point, at time of recording, whether or not that match is going to be taking place, whether Tiffany is ready to it can be cleared for it. We'll know by the end of SmackDown tonight.
You know what? If she's not doing well, just let it off. Just leave it off. It's not going to add anything to the card really at this point. We've seen Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton wrestle what feels like 100 times. I think it's more like 5, but it feels like 100. And obviously, throw Jay Cargill in there. We can get to the rematch down the line. If she's not doing too well, just let it off the card. Exactly. 5 matches is fine.
5 is fine. La 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 la. One of those matches has been the match that's basically been the hype around Wrestlepalooza, and that is John Cena and Brock Lesnar rolling back their some 20-year rivalry. Set to be the main event, or so we thought. Pat McAfee told us otherwise.
Yeah, it's going to open the card. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar will open the card, which is obviously them just going, let's put the biggest names on first who are going to draw the most eyes to our show instead of watching the other show. This is counter-programming 101, Tom.
Yeah, and again, if AEW aren't tight and bright when it comes to finishing times, you could potentially have a situation where the main event is going on as John Cena and Brock Lesnar are getting ready to get going. And I think that's maybe a situation that WWE really want. Again, it's getting eyes over to their product as soon as possible. There's been probably a few occasions where stuff like this has happened, where the main event has ended up going on very early. The one that springs to mind is it was a Backlash, and it was John Cena versus AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose, and it was meant to main event. But because it was on the same night as the presidential debate, it went on first.
Yeah, there's only one winner there, really.
Yeah, that's counter-programming. And they ended up doing, I think, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt last. Oh, no, not Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. The night ended with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt standing tall in some way, shape, or memory. This is off the top of my head. But yes, I remember that happened. I'm sure it's been other situations where they've thrown out the main event immediately.
Yeah.
But I think now they know they've got Drew and Cody, that'll slot into the main event position very nice.
Yeah, I don't know about people at home, obviously, but if I was sat down watching the AEW All Out card as a fan, I'd finish that card and then just get on the plus bit later on.
Yeah, just catch up with it. But I guess it's that whole thing of you can only watch something live once.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Wait, you got to turn that off now because here comes Cena and Lesnar, and they're going to start straight away."
Makes me wonder if more names might be thrown onto that match, just like maybe if The Rock came back or something like that, just to get more and more headlines.
You see, I would have thought that if The Rock was going to come back, they would have kept that in the main event, or at least if he was going to come back to be involved in the Cena Lesnar thing, as you sort of pitched in 9 pitches, they would have left that on as the main event, but they haven't. But we'll see. It's going to be a wild and woolly weekend of wrestling shenanigans, and we're here for the entire thing.
9 pictures for Wrestlepalooza on the channel now. Predictions for Wrestlepalooza and All Out in the same half-an-hour video, by God, is on the channel right now. We'll be live on twitch.tv/Cultaholic all the way through AEW All Out. We'll then pass over to the YouTube. Can't remember the URL.
YouTube.com
Cultaholic
live.
It'll be on this very YouTube channel while Wrestlepalooza is live. And then Tom will be here with the What Happened At videos. If you can't be asked to watch either show, Tom will be there for a 15-20 minute rundown. Concise, I say.
I'm doing What Happened At for both throughout the night.
Yeah.
I apologize to my wife. I miss you and I love you very much. but the war is calling me.
Yeah, and WTF for both shows will be on the Patreon next week, uncensored, all the bells and whistles. If you're on there, you know, and if you don't know,
Now you
know. Get to know. I don't know.
That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you could check out Cultaholic.com. Stay safe.
I never know what to say, Tom.
Perfect.